What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Game Show. My name's AJ Gels. How y'all doing? It is time once more for the weekly show. This is episode 152, and as the title states, I am very happy here. We get to talk about Persona. Look, one of my favorite, probably RPG series, probably one of my favorite games. I went back and just started playing through Persona 5 again. I freaking love the game. It's just so well made, and now with this whole thing about Persona 5, the Royal, I'm so stoked that I get to experience it again, but new. We'll get into that once we get into the news. Either way, if you're new to this program, basically what this is a weekly news program where I sit here, we read articles, sometimes we watch videos. I only have one trailer for you guys this week. In all honesty, I cut a few topics out this week just because I was feeling, I really don't have a whole hell of a lot to say. One of those topics, actually, if you go follow me over on Twitter or go check out my Twitter, I retweeted one. I think it was from Game Informer. I think it was Game Informer. Emma Kent was the writer. It might also been Eurogamer. I can never remember off the top of my head. She wrote about something that's going down between the head of the Epic Game Store came out and said something about what if Steam gave up or Valve gave up like an 88% cut to the developers, that Steam would think about giving up its exclusivity deals. It was really interesting. It's just one of those that I don't really have a whole lot of commentary to give about it. So you can go check that out over on my Twitter. Generally, I retweet a lot of the articles I'm going to be talking about, but I get distracted there. As I said, we sit here, we read articles, and I give my opinions. You guys are always happy to hear you guys' opinions down in the comments. Or on any of the social media that's linked in the description. Also in the description are links to all the articles and timestamps of just about where we hit each article. Hopefully I'll be able to read better this time because I have my new mic set up. I finally got a mic arm, a pop filter, and everything. So actually, my microphone doesn't take up like the entire middle of my screen. So either way. Let's hop right into the news here. So the first article we have is a GameSpot article. Persona 5 Royal's new characters and scenes shown, set for 2019 in Japan, 2020 worldwide on PlayStation 4. Article, Michael Hyam? I'm not entirely sure. Let's just go with that. That's who wrote it. Alright, at the end of the first night for the live concert special Persona Super Live 2019, a full trailer for the updated version of Persona 5 called Persona 5 Royal. I've seen Persona 5 The Royal or Persona 5 Royal. I'm not entirely sure. Basically, it's going to be a Persona. It's going to be similar to Persona 3 FES, Persona 4 Golden. We all had a suspicion / knew that's what this was going to be. That this was going to be the next iteration of Persona 5. It's going to be Persona 5 with added goodies. But with what they're doing here, I think they're actually kind of combining what they did with Persona 4 Golden and Persona 3 FES, and I'll get into that in a second. Actually, I think it's more like Persona 3 FES, but again, I'll get into that in a second. I'm getting ahead of myself. There was a ton of new content revealed, including the new party member for the Phantom Thieves, additional areas for social activities, new attack animations, and extra confidant, and a whole bunch more. As for release date, Persona 5 Royal is set to launch in Japan on October 31st, 2019, and worldwide sometime in 2020, exclusively for the PlayStation 4. In the trailer, you can hear the new theme song and watch gameplay from areas that were not included in the original version. Particularly, you can roam around Kichijoji, I think that's how that's pronounced. Engage in new social scenes with characters, visit an aquarium, and play pool and darts with the whole team at a game bar called Penguin Sniper. You can see additional attack animations as well, specifically one featuring Haru firing her grenade launcher atop Morgana as a speeding bus in a sort of partner attack similar to those added in Persona 4 Golden. In another shown in the trailer, Makoto is seen throwing lightning fast fists, Kenshiro style, after Ryuji sets up an attack. It also appears that there may be an additional palace based on a brief shot of a new animated cutscene. Joker himself uses a hook shot to get around different areas of existing palaces and solve new puzzles. So basically what we're seeing here is, they're adding a new character. It's going to be this girl. We see her name a little later, but she's apparently going to be a new main character, a new character in the Phantom Thieves, which is, I'm going to do my best here not to do any spoilers for Persona 5. I don't know if anybody's really played all the way through it, has not played it, and doesn't want spoilers, whatever. I'm going to do my best not to just outright spoil things. But she's going to be a new character. They talk about who her persona is a little lower, but you know, she uses a rapier. It's more French themed. Personally, the character that I really wanted to see them add to Persona 5 would be a character who uses a revolver and Bowie knife. Yes, I know technically, yes, Makoto uses a revolver, but still, I wanted a 6-shooter and a Bowie knife. Their outfit in the palaces makes them look like a cowboy. Their code name is Kid. Their persona is Billy the Kid. I just wanted that to happen so much. Granted, we got Captain Kid with Ryuji, but that's either way. I'm getting really nerdy. I love Persona 5. If it's not obvious, honestly, I can't remember those partner attacks in Persona 4 Golden. I've got my Vita here. I've got to get it. I keep putting it to sleep while I'm playing Danganronpa, and I keep forgetting about it for a few days, and it runs out of charge. So I gotta recharge that damn thing and play Persona 4 Golden again. But all in all, I like this idea that they're bringing in a new character to the game. Apparently, they're bringing in a new palace. We'll get into a little bit more later down in the article what this character being added and another palace would mean for the game. And honestly, I think the ideas are really cool. They're really filling out the game more. This is why I said it's a lot more like Persona 3 FES than Persona 4 Golden. Basically, Persona 4 Golden added some features. It brought in a new there were social links in the old Persona games. Now they're confidants, but whatever. It brought in a new social link. But it really didn't add a new. I'm just gonna say dungeon. I can't remember exactly what they were called in Persona 4, because in Persona 3. There was Tartarus, which was the tower that you climbed. That was your main way of dungeon crawling, and then you had the open world. Then there was the stuff out in the real world every full moon. I think because Persona 3 went by the full moon. Persona 4 went by the rainy season because that's when you went into the Midnight Channel. And then there were different areas based on different characters. And then Persona 5 has the different palaces, which collapse after you defeat the owner of the palace. And then there was Mementos, which was the thing that was like the subway system. Persona is a very odd game series. I'm losing my train of thought. Let's just keep going. I can't even tell where I was going. Oh, right. I was saying it's more like Persona 3 FES, where FES it was the base game. It added some things here and there, like it added a social link and some other stuff, but then FES took about Persona 3 clocks in around 80 hours, and then it added a 30-hour kind of like epilogue side story where you played as the robot girl. She gets the same powers as the main character, and you play through a thing with that. And then Persona 4, but Persona 4 Golden was basically just Persona 4 with added features. So I think 5 The Royal is going for that FES style. It's going for that. We're going to not only add stuff, we're going to add more, as opposed to adding like a so many hour epilogue. They're basically just adding to the main game. I kind of like this. All in all, though, I'm a little surprised that we're seeing this in a full-on re-release, because I thought what we would see would be like here's a $30 expansion, here's a $30 expansion DLC, as opposed to just doing a full-on re-release of the game. But now, knowing what I know from reading this article, apparently they're changing the game. They're changing the narrative structure, they're changing a lot to the game. So honestly, this is one of those that I'm like, I understand why they're just re-releasing. It's not just, hey, here's a few new features, spend $60 more. When in all honesty, we could have done this as a $20 DLC, as opposed to this is technically a new game. I like that they're that they're doing it this way. I think it makes perfect sense. So either way, I've rambled enough. Sorry, I kind of got in my own head, and I love the series too much. The new party member goes by the name of Kasumi Yoshizawa, and she's also a transfer student at Shujin Academy, who's a rhythmic gymnast. She's shown elegantly dancing in the animated cutscene. You can see her in combat through a critical hit animation in the trailer for a brief moment. As well, she uses a rapier-style sword and a Winchester-type rifle. Kasumi is going to play a major role and change up the original storyline, and seems to be closely tied to Joker and Goro Akechi. there's another major character by the name of Takuto Maruki, who is a school counselor at Shujin and a new confidant that appears after the Kamoshida debacle. See, I'm curious about that one, what that new social link or confidant or whatever is going to be, but I like this idea of bringing this girl in and having her be tied to Joker and Goro or Akechi. Just let's go with Akechi because that's what I usually refer to him as. I like this connection between these two characters because I always thought the thing with Akechi was I'm not going to spoil how his storyline kind of ends in the game. He's an interesting character. Yet he's really irritating just because it always seems like he pops, like you really can't interact with him too terribly much throughout the main game. I mean, you'll see him sitting around at the coffee shop LeBlanc. He'll be sitting there. You can go up and talk to him, but generally he just kind of pops up at story sections. He's not a confidant until he becomes a confidant about midway through the game. But he's one of those confidants that you don't go out and hang out with out in the world. It's just his confidant rank goes up at certain points at certain scripted points of the game. So I think with this character being there, it's going to really flush out Akechi's character. We're going to deal with him a lot more as you would with your typical teammates and everything. So I'm really interested to see how it's going to change his character and how it's really going to affect even how we interact with him. So there's a shot of her character. And if the original game wasn't long enough for you, there will be a third semester in the storyline along with extra events throughout the game. There will also be new story beats towards the end of the game to help flesh out the conclusion. You can catch a glimpse of it below, where the whole crew is celebrating New Year's Day, and Yusuke appears to be setting up the perfect group picture. There was a lot more to break down, so we went in depth with our full Persona 5 Royal analysis on the new trailer and screenshots. You can catch the video, blah, blah, blah. P5S, which we'll go into in a second. All in all, like I said, I'm pumped for Persona 5 The Royal. I really kind of rambled on enough about my thoughts on it. Yeah, like I said, I like the idea that they're bringing in a new character. They're giving us a new way to interact with Goro Akechi. They're basically changing the latter half of the story. So again, it makes perfect sense why they're doing a re-release as opposed. This isn't a money grab. This is we're fundamentally this is a different game altogether. Yeah, it's still going to be similar to Persona 5, but it's still a new game. So it's worth dropping that extra cash for that new game experience, and I'm all for it. We're gonna check out the trailer here, but real quick though, I'll throw this on to anybody who's still listening to me ramble about Persona 5. If somebody wants to do the research, because I've not been able to find anything on this. If somebody wants to really dig into it and tell me, because like I said, I can't freaking find anything on it. But I think the embargo on being able to do like a Let's Play for Persona 5, because I wanted to do one when it first came out. I was planning on it, but then as soon as I had my first video uploaded, I was seeing articles that was saying, their Atlas is shutting this shit down. But apparently I've been I've been hearing rumors, seeing like little offshoots on Twitter or something saying, hey, you can, that this person's posting Persona 5 videos. So if anybody wants to tell me, can I post the full game as a Let's Play? If we can, believe you me, like we'll sit down and play Persona 5. Like I'll do like a video a week that's going to hit like 2 hours of just level grinding and having fun playing Persona. If anyone's interested and wants to do that research and really dig into it and find it for me, much appreciated. You can send me a link to anything, any articles or whatever over on any of the social media platforms. So, all right, let's get on to the trailer. All right, guys, real quick before we hop into this, I want to give the warning. This is the official Japanese trailer. So, and I am finding this on GameSpot trailers because I couldn't find something from Atlas. So, let's get into it. Stupid mouse. Stop popping onto the screen. Oh, great. I can't. I was hoping there were subtitles. Apologize.
そんな哀れみはいらない。そんなためらいはいらないんだよ。
Okay, so we're seeing the So we're seeing the trailer from, or the thing with Joker being interrogated. I mean, because Persona 5 is told almost entirely through like a flashback. Curious about this stuff. So what's up with that? The thing on the screen. I'm gonna like everybody was frozen like it was in like Persona 3's Midnight Hour. I do dig the song. Although I mean, come on, let's be honest. I mean, Persona had some really kick-ass music. Oh, that's pretty fucking awesome. All right. Let's I'm sorry. I'm gonna be a little choppy and kind of talking over this. Like I said, I mean it's the Japanese trailer, so, and I don't speak Japanese, so I have no idea what's being said. Okay, like this area entirely new. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, these areas are new. I've not seen any of those areas, at all. And this grappling hook we heard about a little bit in the trailer. So I guess they're even retooling some of the They're going to be retooling some of the palaces, because this is Kamoshida Palace, I believe. Yeah, it's the castle. Right, and this puzzle was completely different, or not even a puzzle, I use quotes, was completely different in the base version. So again, I'm going to keep saying it. They are doing something entirely new here. The counselor dude. Yeah, this is the Okumura Foods guy. Oh, does she actually attack now? I love that group attack. Alright, look, I'm really hoping that when we can play like darts and billiards and all that, I really hope it's kind of like the Yakuza games. I highly doubt they're gonna put in like a full-fledged minigame like that, but they're gonna make it like we're really playing darts, we're really playing pool. It's not just like, hey, how should we approach this shot or this throw, and then leave it up to your what was it in Persona 5? There were five skills. It was kindness, proficiency, guts, charm, and knowledge. Leaving it up to one of your 5 social stats. Okay, so I'm going with it as Persona 5 The Royal. I'm going with what's marked. Okay, so it is. So like I said, it's October 31st, 2019 for Japan. It's coming out in 2020 in the West. No, I'm stoked. My last statement. I'm fucking stoked. I love it. And like I said earlier, if anybody's interested in doing the digging and wants to see a Persona 5 Let's Play, please let me know, and you will not hear any complaints from me. I am happy to start that Let's Play literally tomorrow. I love Persona, so believe me. If you can find me an article that says yes, it's good, you're good to go, please let me know. All right, so now moving on to what we're to the next story, we're not talking about Persona 5R, but we're going to be talking about Persona 5S. So Atlus's mysterious Persona 5S is a warrior-style action game for PlayStation 4 and Switch. Article Eurogamer, written by Matt Walls, I don't know. Atlus has finally unveiled its mysterious Persona 5S, a game which has been the source of much speculation in recent times. The bad news is it's not the Switch port of Persona 5 that many of us were hoping for. Hell, I would have bought that. You didn't even have to. You could have taken Persona 5, directly ported it to the Switch, and I would have bought that. I'm serious. The chance to actually play Persona 5 in the tub, or just sitting out on my couch instead of having to sit at my desk. Oh, hell yeah, I'd play that. That's not to say there's nothing to get excited about. Well, I mean, if you hate the Dynasty Warrior style games, I don't... I mean, look, this isn't out of the ordinary for Persona to do something weird with their games. I mean, come on, we've had a rhythm-based dancing game with Dancing All Night. They've had just a flat-out fighting style game with Persona 5 Arena, or was it Persona 4 Arena? Can't remember. It was Persona something Arena, which brought in characters from Persona 3 and 4 into like your typical, side-scrolling fighting game sort of style. So it's not uncommon. I mean, right here, I mean, it's even talking about One Piece, Fire Emblem, Legend of Zelda. So many Japanese games are trying these warrior-styles games, and I don't know who's playing them, because, I mean, they don't get a whole hell of a lot of press, and not a lot of people. I mean, honestly, I got sad every time I go to the store and I look at it, I see Fire Emblem, whatever, Fire Emblem, I think it's called Heroes, or whatever, because I want to play a Fire Emblem game, because they've always looked really cool to me. I love Atlas. I believe it's an Atlas title. But, I love RPGs. I love kind of like the tactical combat that you see in Fire Emblem. But I've never owned a DS or anything to play them on. And I'm really happy that they are working on a new one for the Switch. Actually, we have an article for that a little later. But goddamn, why do we need another like Dynasty Warrior style game? Whatever. Let's see here. Persona 5S or Persona 5 Scrambled, the Phantom Strikers, as it's known formerly known, will actually see Atlus's beloved JRPG series getting a full, I have no idea how to pronounce that, Musou treatment. Yet Persona is the latest in a long line of iconic franchises following on the likes of One Piece, Fire Emblem, and Legend of Zelda to be turned into a warrior-style game, courtesy of Koei Tecmo's Omega Force team. You can see what Persona's transition to frantic multi-enemy slaughtering battlefield action looks like in Persona 5 Scramble reveal trailer. No, we will not be watching that. There's no release date for Persona 5 Scramble the Phantom Strikers just yet, or indeed any confirmation that the game will be heading west at some future point. But there is some good news for Switch fans, glum that this isn't the Persona 5 port. Many were clamoring for. Persona 5 Scramble will be heading to Nintendo's platform as well as PS4. Look, honestly, I think they're I don't get why Atlus wouldn't make a deal there. I mean, unless they have some sort of exclusivity deal with the mainline series being connected to the PlayStation, because I mean, what, those Persona Labyrinth games or those Q series games, I'm not entirely sure what those are. They kind of look, the characters look little like chibi versions of their normal selves, and I've seen those on the DS. Unless there is like an exclusivity deal that Atlus has with PlayStation for the Persona franchise, for the love of God, yes, take Persona 5 and move it to the Switch. I think the arts it can't be that much of a technical issue. I think the way Persona 5 looks is perfect for the Switch. It's a stylized game. It's not photorealistic or anything. I think it would work. I mean, hell, Doom could work on the Switch. I think Doom and Wolfenstein could work on the Switch. I think Persona 5 could work on the Switch. And I think the Switch is the perfect platform for kind of dungeon grindy turn-based RPGs. I'm surprised we don't see more of them. I mean, we see some of the classic ones, stuff like Octopath Traveler, but I'm surprised we don't see more games like Persona on the Switch. I mean, hell, port Personas 3 and 4 over to the Switch. Actually, port Personas 3 and 4 over onto the PS4 as well. I'd buy that. God damn it, I want to play that a lot right now. Now I'm going to probably go dust off my PS2 and play Persona on my PlayStation. God damn, I love Persona, guys. I'm not going to apologize for that. All right, so we'll I'll stop being a gigantic dork. Well, about that. Now, if the article will load, because I have way too many articles from Games Radar right now, and if you've seen them, they fill up about what was that joke from Ready Player One? Like we can fill up 80% of the player's visual range without causing seizures. Something like that. It's how I always feel like when I read Games Radar, but they had some good articles this week. So to start things off, Days Gone DLC plans kick off with free survival mode and challenge updates in June. Article Connor Sheridan of Games Radar. Just kind of a quick thing of my thoughts on Days Gone so far, because I've been really blasting through it. I really like it, in all honesty. I think the reviews are a little low. I can see where people weren't. There are issues with the game on a technical level. I was in a house in the last video I did, and I literally walked right through a dresser. Like it was a visual thing, like they put the dresser there, but it wasn't like physically a piece of it wasn't like a physical piece of geometry in the environment. Like I walked through a few trees. When Deacon's like running downhill, it looks like he's just running on flat land. And there's some things here and there that make you go, oh, that's disappointing. They pulled out a lot of like player choice, but all in all, driving the drifter bike around, the combat, I love the freaker AI. There's a lot of cool stuff in the game, especially I think how the story branches off of itself. I am kind of finding it right now that I'm wanting the game to get somewhere with its main story. It kind of feels like it's leading up, but never going anywhere. But again, there's just some opening thoughts. Like I said, I'm liking it, but I can see where some people were frustrated with it. But all in all, let's take a look at some of the DLC for it. Days Gone DLC is coming, but you won't have to pay for it. At least not the stuff we know about so far. Developer Sony Bend Studio revealed its plans for free DLC on the PlayStation blog ahead of Days Gone arrival on Friday, April 26th. And they currently consist of new survival mode and weekly challenges. They'll offer new trophies and new appearances for Deacon's motorcycle in exchange for your hard-fought victories. You'll have about a month or two to play the game, more or less, in its launch state before Days Gone's DLC slate starts rolling out in June. Here's what we know so far. Days Gone Survival Mode takes away some tools. You'll be able to play in easy, normal, and hard mode as soon as the game launches, but for Days Gone Survival Mode, you'll have to wait until June. In exchange for your patience, get tougher encounters and deeper gameplay changes. Fast travel will be disabled, as will survival vision, which makes it easier to track enemies and focus on key parts of the environment. And in this case is ironically named, survival mode also removes on-screen indicators and the mini-map, leaving you to find your own way in the post-apocalyptic wilderness. See, not my favorite way to do a survival mode. I was kind of hoping for maybe make it so you have to eat and drink and sleep, make gas harder to find, make ammo come at a little bit more of a premium, as opposed to removing your mini-map. I feel like that should just be an option in general if you want to play yes mini-map, no mini-map, stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, it just seems like it's just a new difficulty mode, not necessarily a survival mode. When I think survival mode, I don't think of it as technically making the game harder. It's making it more like a survival game, which I don't think what they talked about there makes that. But yeah. Days Gone weekly challenges gives you more challenge. Planning to have everything 100% complete as soon as possible. Keep an eye out for some new tasks to start rolling out on the game on a weekly basis in June. These Days Gone weekly challenges will be divided into 3 categories: bike, horde, and combat. Expect plenty of races, crowd control, and good old-fashioned battle. Completing these challenges will earn you extra in-game items and rewards. Though Ben Studio plans to add them weekly, it seems like they'll be a permanent part of the game once they arrive. Hopefully, no need to rush. Days Gone story DLC could happen. See, that was actually what I was the most interested in, is if we're going to see story DLC for Days Gone, mostly because I got the digital deluxe enhanced whatever edition. It was the difference between paying $60 or $70, so I just paid the 70. I don't know. It's just me. I like my season passes. Yada yada yada. But honestly, I was expecting a season pass, but there wasn't a season pass for story DLC or anything like that. So it's weird to me though that it doesn't look like they're planning on something right now. There hasn't yet been any word about Days Gone story DLC, which could expand the narrative and world like Horizon Zero Dawn's Frozen Wilds DLC. You know, I meant to play that, and I still haven't. I have it sitting on my PlayStation, and I've just not gone back to Horizon. Like, I want to go back and play the game again. Finding the time, man. That doesn't mean it won't happen, though. Chances are Ben's studio will want to give players a chance to make their way through the base story before they start teasing into potential additions. You know what? Actually, I like that idea. I like them waiting on it, as opposed to just coming out and announcing, hey, we got story DLC on the way here. It's going to be... It looks like they're going to be doing that more... Look, we worked hard on the game, and we released the game we wanted to release. Now that they're like, oh, there's some money and there's some interest, okay, let's make some story DLC, a little bit extra. Honestly, what I'd like to see, if they do a story DLC, expand on Deacon's younger years. How Harry met Sally. God damn it, that's a really fucking bad joke. I'm sorry. How Deacon, more stuff about how Deacon met Sarah. More maybe what Deacon's life with the mongrel MC was like. Stuff like that. I think there's a lot of stuff they could play with. Although, granted, I'm not completely done with the game, so maybe more of that's expanded upon as you play, because a lot of the backstory in the game is told through a flashback. But either way, I don't know. I mean, if you say, does the DLC that they have planned excite me? No, not really. I couldn't care less. But as far as Days Gone, though, I would suggest it. I think it is a fun time. If you're still questioning it, check out my Let's Play series. I think I already have 2 videos up. I think it's like 4.5 some hours of content. And as we speak, as literally I'm recording this video, I have another video going up for the series that's about an hour and 50 some minutes. So you will get a really good look at the gameplay. Go check them out if you're interested in that. So moving on to the next article we got. Square Enix's Nomura announces Remind DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3, article Brian Shea of Game Informer. Excuse me, that was gross. I apologize. During last night's Kingdom Hearts Orchestra World of performance in Tokyo, new DLC was announced for Kingdom Hearts 3, according to the concert goers. Multiple accounts report famed series director Tetsuya Nomura took the stage as a surprise guest to detail the new DLC, currently titled Remind. According to those accounts, the Remind DLC will feature both paid and free components. Those who pay for the premium DLC will receive an additional Remind scenario, 2 new episodes and bosses, and an English voice acting option for the Japanese version. In addition, everyone will receive a new Keyblade and form for free. According to subsequent tweets from Yanlin Gaming, who was in attendance, Nomura presented this information in, quote, little funny PowerPoint presentation, end quote, and said that the pricing and release timing hasn't been determined yet, and that more details would come in June. Kingdom Hearts 3 launched January 29th, long-awaited entry, blah, 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 blah. Critical mode update launched this week. I mean, there's not a lot of we don't have a whole hell of a lot of details yet, so I'm not going to necessarily speculate, but I'm kind of hoping maybe we'll see a new world, maybe we'll see some more, just more fun Kingdom Hearts stuff. Hell, maybe something to take the bad taste of the San Francisco, the Big Hero 6 world out. I will be fair, I've not played Big Hero, I've not seen Big Hero 6, the movie, so I can't tell you, I couldn't tell you anything about the story, but the Kingdom Hearts world kind of blows. In all honesty, although I did think the Pirates of the Caribbean one was really cool, just almost entirely based on the fact that that game, or that world, is probably the best looking Kingdom Hearts world. Either way, like I said, I can't really tell you what exactly is going to be in this, but like I said, I'm hoping for maybe some new worlds, some more stuff that's going to flush out the story. Honestly, I think Kingdom Hearts 3 is a great game, and I'd argue, probably at the moment, my game of the year. I'm trying to think of anything that really kind of competes with it. I mean, maybe I'd throw in the Resident Evil 2 remake. Maybe I'd throw in... That's about it, in all honesty. I think Kingdom Hearts 3 right now is my game of the year. And honestly, super surprising coming from me as a guy who, up until it released, I was sitting here going... I really don't care. And when I was coming into Kingdom Hearts 3, I was like, you know what? I'll play it. I'll give the series a shot. It seems really cool. I picked up the story so far pack, and I've really kind of dived into it. And it's almost completely made me do a 180 on my Kingdom Hearts thoughts, because originally I thought Kingdom Hearts, meh. But you know what? Now playing them again, maybe it's because I'm more mature. I'm an adult. I am mature. You want to argue quotes. But no, I'm really excited to see what they're gonna do with Kingdom Hearts 3, and I'm really digging the game. So, all right, moving on to as I said, another game that really played, but I'm excited for. This is an article on Games Radar for Fire Emblem 3 Houses. It lets you rewind and take exams to rank up. Article Aaron Garst? Yeah, Games Radar. If it'll let me scroll. Son of a bitch. How many fucks? Either way, okay, we can. I'm serious. I am 3 seconds from drop kicking my computer. All right, stay. Bad game. All right. While Fire Emblem 3 Houses is taking the JRPG to a new direction with its Harry Potter-esque premise, many familiar features and mechanics will be returning when the game's release in July. A recent feature... Oh, God, I think this game comes out in July. A recent feature in the Japanese Famitsu, which was translated by Resetera users, showcased new story elements and gameplay mechanics that tell us a bit more about what to expect from the next entry in the Fire Emblem franchise. The thread includes info on the protagonist's origins and additional characters, which isn't too different from previous games like Fire Emblem Awakening. It also includes a look at how familiar mechanics and changing with 3 Houses' new narrative structure. The 3 Houses each feature a weapon specialization that's unique to their units. The Dresden Empire is magic, Kingdom of Fargus is with spears, and the Golden Deer students prioritize bows and arrows. Ooh, which one do you think I'm going to? I am a bow and arrow man. You'll have to choose one house at the beginning of the game, and specializations could help shape your playstyle. It's not clear if there will be other non-cosmetic features that are unique to certain houses. My also my guess with this is that again, they're doing this is going to be one of those sort of, what's the word here? It's going to be one of those, hey, you play with the different houses for different stories, yada yada yada. It's basically a push for replayability. 3 Houses features a time rewind mechanic similar to Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Valentia, letting you take back certain moves during battle. Class changes, one of the staples of the franchise, are also getting slightly tweaked. Units will now need to pass qualification exams to rank up. The chance of successfully passing those exams increases if the unit has the proper skills. I never thought I'd be going back to school in a Fire Emblem game, but here we are. You know what? From what I've read, I've heard multiple people talk about this, is that the whole Japanese thing and obsession with like setting games in like a school setting has hurt some games with Western audiences. Personally, I like them. I mean, it's one of the things I like about Valkyria Chronicles 2. Originally, it was a PSP game. You can play it on the Vita if you have one, like I do. Honestly, I like the school setting for the game, and I like the idea of this kind of like weird school setting. I mean, hell, like 2 or 3 Final Fantasy games have been sort of set around the idea of a school. I don't know. It's just one of those weird things it's just got stuck in my head. Sorry if I'm making no sense. My computer's just slowing down and being weird. Some of these features could be adjusted before the game comes out later this year, but this is still a good peek into how the series is changing as it comes to Nintendo Switch for the first time. Yeah, I mean, I'm pumped for a Nintendo Switch version of Fire Emblem, because it gets me a chance to play a Fire Emblem game. I'm really stoked for it, and I can't wait. For July. All right, guys, I'm gonna take a quick second. I'm gonna close some tabs so we can continue moving this along without my computer crashing. All right, hopefully things will run a little better now that I closed a shitload of tabs. All right, I kind of switched up the order that we're going to be talking about these, because I felt like, you know what, we're talking about the Switch. I think it's fair that we keep talking about some Nintendo stuff. So Nintendo quietly moves Bayonetta 3's release date from 2019 to TBA. Honestly, kind of makes me sad, because I really want another Bayonetta game. I want to see where they go after 2, and how 2 kind of created like this time loop with the first game, but also kind of created some plot holes. This is some weird shit that I want to know how they're gonna deal with it. Let's see. Animal Crossing Switch and Luigi's Mansion 3 are both still coming this year. Bayonetta 3's release date has remained up in the air for some time, though various quotes from Nintendo specs since the reveal of Platinum Games' threequel in 2017 has heavily implied a 2019 release window at the least. Until now, that's thanks to Nintendo's newly released quarterly financial report, which lists all of its upcoming Switch games and their respective release dates, once again confirming both Animal Crossing Switch and Luigi's Mansion 3 will indeed be releasing this year. However, Bayonetta 3 is mysteriously given a release date of TBA to be announced. The only other game it shares that acronym with is being Metroid Prime 3, which got completely rebooted and handed over to another developer unexpectedly last year. That spells bad news for those of us expecting to play Bayonetta 3 sometime later this year, but hopefully the internal delay is merely a small pushback for extra polish, rather than an indication of development woes over at Platinum Games. There's every chance Bayonetta 3 will make an appearance in June this year when Nintendo shows off its E3 2019 games as part of the Nintendo Direct livestream, but it's not known whether that will be tagged with any news about the game's schedule. Still, with both a new Luigi's Mansion and Animal Crossing game on the way for 2019, not to mention 2 new Pokemon Switch games. God damn, I forgot about those. Games in the form of Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, owners of Nintendo's portable console can hardly complain. If Platinum needs more time to perfect the threequel on its action-adventure hack-and-slash series, then we're happy to wait as long as it takes. Honestly, yeah, I'm willing to wait on Bayonetta 3. I'm not saying I'm chomping at the bit here for another Bayonetta game, but no, honestly, I loved Bayonetta. I liked Bayonetta 2. I want to see where they're going to take the series, because like I said, at the end of 2, the game kind of wrapped around and connected with Bayonetta 1. Again, you check out the full Let's Play for both games. I played them both here on the channel. So I am interested in what they're going to do with Bayonetta 3, but like they said, I mean, there's plenty of more games coming out. I mean, hell, I forgot about the 2 new Pokemon games, which honestly, I'm pumped for. Hell, I might buy both. I probably will buy both. For Sword and Shield. Geez, this will probably be the first, legit Pokemon game that I have bought in, probably since the Game Boy Advanced. It's been a long fucking time. God damn. I mean, honestly, I like that they're going back to the more traditional Pokemon style game and not doing. I mean, I know a lot of people were kind of liked what was the last one, Sun and Moon, where they kind of took away the gyms and everything. But I don't know. I like that we're getting a more traditional kind of Pokemon experience on the next gen platform, or on next gen platforms on the Switch. And I also like how they're taking it away. They're just upping how the game looks. I really like the way the game looks. I mean, it still looks like it's on that kind of grid-based movement system. I'm still waiting for something kind of if anybody remembers the Pokemon games on the GameCube, I want something like that, something styled like a true open world game like those. But with the idea of just a normal Pokemon game where it's just get the badges, fight the Elite Four, all that. I would love to see that shit. But, yeah, either way, that was a pretty short article. But right, moving on. PC Gamer, there is an update to the story, which we'll read the original first and hit the update. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2's first abilities have been revealed, article Fraser Brown of PC Gamer. The original story, at the start of Vampire the Masquerade 2, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, that's a long-ass title, with a giant hyphen in the middle, we'll be playing a newly embraced Thin Blood, a second-class citizen of the vampire world. They're not really liked, and they're weaker than the full-blooded vampires that belong to various clans. We'll be able to join them too, but even as a Thin Blood, we'll have a few tricks up our puffy vampire sleeves. Watch the teaser above for the brief introduction. You know what? We might check that out. By might, I mean we probably will. So I'm still hoping that we can pick our clan. I hope that's not just locked in, because honestly, that was part of what was really cool about the first Vampire the Masquerade game, was the fact that the game almost changed entirely based on if you wanted to play as a the only clan name that's coming to mind right now is Nosferatu. There's Nosferatu, the Malkavian, who are kind of they have some foresight ability, but they're also completely insane. I love them. It seems like they'd be really fun to roleplay as in the actual like tabletop version of the game. Oh my god, I keep wanting to say Bruxa, but I know that's a Witcher version. That's a Witcher vampire. Oh my god, fuck me sideways. I can't remember a lot of them. I mean, I like I said, I know the Malkavian, I know the Nosferatu, and there's like 4 or 5 others, and I cannot remember any of them. Man, I should feel bad about myself. But I still hope, like, if you played as the Nosferatu in the first game, you actually couldn't walk around up on the streets because you look like a monster, so you had to travel in the sewers. It made the game actually just harder on you. Or what if you played as I want to say it's not Virat. The Virat were the bad guys, or they were like an enemy faction because you were working with the Camarilla. Fuck me, guys. There was like a high class vampire where you could only drink the blood of like high class people. You couldn't drink the blood of bums or whatever. It was a really interesting way to kind of change how you got to play the game. In the first one, basically, that's what I'm getting at. I'm hoping that we still get that essence of a role playing game in this one, which I have no doubt that we will. But it makes me sit just for the fact that wasn't overtly stated. Just kind of makes me go, eh. While Thin Bloods aren't popular, they're seen as a troubling portent. Seattle is apparently a bit more welcoming than most cities. The Camarilla has recently taken control, so maybe that will change things. But Thin Bloods are still able to rub shoulders with important vampires and hang out in vampire high society. Unfortunately, they're still treated pretty poorly compared to clan members. At first, new vampires will have one of 3 Thin Blood disciplines to choose from, giving them a different set of supernatural abilities that should come in handy both in and out of combat. Joining one of the 5 clans will also unlock more abilities and upgrades. Check out the Thin Blood options below. See, again, it's making me think that we aren't going to be able to choose what kind of vampire we want to be, because one of them was oh my god, it was like mongrel. It was something similar to mongrel. But basically, they were kind of like, it was kind of, god damn, they were taller, a little bit more stronger, more primal. So they had the ability to track. They had a heightened sense of smell. Gangrel, that was the name of the class. There was one that's more of just like a physical fighter. There's some that were like more like blood mages. I'm hoping that still sticks around, and that the RPG stuff isn't just like this whole Thin Blood and god damn it, clan thing that they're talking about. Again, because the thing, unless I'm not understanding what a Thin Blood is, I'm sorry. I need to go bone up on my my Vampire the Masquerade kind of lore. We'll just keep reading. So there's Chiropteran. You love bats, can't get enough of them. Glide makes your bones hollow like a bird, so you can temporarily float, get up to hard-to-reach places, and surprise people by swooping down on them like a hungry bat. Bat swarms let you summon a swarm of bat pals that can attack and disable enemies, and eventually you'll be able to protect yourself behind a wall of bats. That's actually kind of cool. Mentalism. Your massive vampire brain has given you telekinesis. Pole allows you to grab objects and weapons from the power of your mind. With Levitate, you can suspend in the air, and eventually more than one person fully upgraded, you'll be able to levitate everyone and everything in the whole area. In Nebulation, your best mate is Mist. Use Mist Shroud, summons a cloud, muffles footprints. It's more of a stealth build. Envelop creates a vortex of mist, surrounds and blinds and chokes every enemy it touches. That's pretty sweet. Honestly, I'd probably go with Nebulation or Chiropterans. Mentalism is cool, but I don't know. It's just that kind of like just basic Jedi shit. It just seems a little boring to me. All these powers sound pretty great, so clearly Thin Bloods just have a bad rap. Hardsuit Labs will be discussing Thin Bloods and what life in Seattle is like. God damn it, every time I try and read a PC Gamer article, man, it's something about their font and their background. It messes with my eyes. Them in a live stream on Twitch that's starting right now. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodline 2 is due out next year. Alright, so we'll read the update real quick. We've learned a bit more about Bloodline 2's Thin Bloods from the Twitch stream. While it largely went over what was revealed below. A few additional details were shared. Thin Bloods will be more powerful than their PnP counterparts. For instance, and while the game uses the rules for the current edition V5, the Thin Bloods have abilities like their counterparts from earlier editions. A Thin Blood eventually joining a vampire clan is unconventional in the world of darkness setting, but apparently the story will deal with the fact that players will be joining as an outsider. Joining a clan also doesn't mean giving up your Thin Blood powers. Since Thin Bloods pretty much burst into flames the moment they're hit by sunlight, none of the game will take place during the day. While it could be served as an interesting obstacle, the devs felt that ultimately it would just be too frustrating, so it's almost late at night. So it's always late at night. Okay, so Thin Blood is Thin Blood just another term? Is just another kind of vampire, like the Malkavians, like the Nosferatus and everything? Again, I need to. I'll stop asking just random questions. I need to bone up on my World of Darkness lore. All right. Either way, let's check out the clan introduction thing. Okay, it's like a minute 30. Okay, I'm really hoping that some of those that some of the cutscenes appear like that, like in that sort of comic booky style. It looks really sweet.
I used to love the summer. How the sun brings everything to life. Now it just mocks me. I thought I died, but I feel even more alive. Faster, stronger. I want to run, hunt, feed. But what I saw, am I at the bottom of this food chain? Okay, keep cool. But this thirst, it's killing me. Keep cool.
All right, that didn't give me exactly what I was hoping for, because I was actually hoping for like a more breakdown of what a Thin Blood was and all that. But honestly, I kind of like that. I hope, like I said, I hope some of the cutscenes in this game are displayed like that, because that was a pretty cool looking, as a neat looking trailer. Mix that with the fact that I'm stoked games in Q1 2020. All right, coming up next, we're gonna finish off with an article on Death Stranding. Hideo Kojima and Norman Reedus spill some intriguing details. Some intriguing new Death Stranding details. Article Rachel Weber of Games Radar. See here. Tonight in New York, on the stage with his Death Stranding star Norman Reedus, Hideo Kojima threw the audience a few tantalizing scraps of information about his new game, including how all players will be connected, how Reedus shapes the hero Sam, and about the secret area of the game where the players can take control of a camera. Alright. Quote, "It's an open-world action game, but it's really something new," said Kojima. "There are so many things happening in the world. In America, in Europe, everything is actually connected by the internet, but in a way, we're not connected in the real world these days," end quote. He's saying it's an action game, yet we've not seen how the action takes place. Is it going to be with guns? Is it going to be with swords? Is it going to be... I don't know. Are we going to literally just be throwing shit at each other? Somebody explain this. Because all the real gameplay we've seen have been sneaking and Norman Reedus' character walking around carrying shit. That has just been about it. Quote, "I'm putting that as a metaphor in the game. The player will have to reconnect the world in the game. You're very alone, there's solitude, but you're trying to connect. The story and the gameplay, the key word is connection. There are so many things in between, of course, but the key is connection," he continues. "I also threw in a really new idea. You're connecting the game and everyone is playing it together, and you'll be connected. Everyone will be connected together as well. I can't say anything because Sony will be very unhappy. I don't want to be disconnected from Sony," end quote. But yeah, I mean, especially after you got disconnected from Konami. But That makes me... Yeah, see right here, it's easy to read this explanation as referring to some sort of world similar to an MMO, but knowing Kojima, it will be something far more mind-blowing than that, and could use PlayStation's online capabilities in a brand new way. See, that's honestly the first time, just my gut reaction reading that. I'm like, oh god, no, please tell me that this isn't going to be some sort of like shared universe thing, but that doesn't sound like Kojima. The guy sounds like too much of an artist, too much of a... Let's be honest, too fucking crazy to do the same thing that everyone's trying right now. I don't think Kojima's going to be spending all this time on a shared world style game like that. It's got to be something different. After all, this is the man that had created characters in the Metal Gear series, ordering the players to turn off their console to abort a mission, or reading the contents of the player's memory card. That was fucking awesome, by the way, when they did that. Reedus, who will recognize as Daryl from The Walking Dead, also spoke very carefully about how the game was different from others he'd seen. Quote, "It's a different way of thinking," said Reedus. "I have a teenage son. I've played some games where you just kill everybody. It's not like that. There's violent elements to it, but it's just a different thing," end quote. Reedus and Kojima clearly have a lot of mutual respect and affection, and Kojima spoke of the actor like a muse. Quote, "In Death Stranding, I'm going to put every aspect of Norman in there," he said. "There's a lot of cutscenes, and there's a lot of long cutscenes. You'll see Norman as Sam in the game, and see his acting in the cutscenes, and you'll enjoy that," end quote. Well, one, I love Norman Reedus. You know, I loved him in Walking Dead, loved him in Boondock Saints. I like Norman. I love Norman Reedus. You know, he also seems like a funny dude, because I've seen some of his tweets. The dude's really fucking funny. But I mean, when Kojima's saying he's putting everything of Norman Reedus, I mean, hell, one of the first things that we saw in the you know, like the reveal trailers was we got to see his ass. All right. See here. Quote, "One more thing, I can't say where, but if you go somewhere in the game, you won't be controlling Norman or Sam. You'll be just controlling a camera. You'll see Sam/Norman, and you can kind of move the camera to see around, and when you look at him, he might do something like wink at you. So you're actually playing as Norman Reedus as Sam, and in the drama part, Sam will act to hint your emotions, but when you go into the special area, you'll definitely love Norman. You'll be a Norman fan," end quote. I'm going to go put my head in the oven, because it hurts so much after that. Basically, prepare for Death Stranding to be very meta. Well, it's a goddamn Kojima game. Of course, wait for it to be very meta. The two also described the long process of creating a complete 3D scan of Norman, as well as the extensive motion capture of the movements and facial expressions, even Reedus' tattoos, with Kojima joking that any new tattoos he gets will have to be included as DLC. It's super collaborative. I love that baby's butt shown on the camera. That's really funny. Collaborative, said Reedus of the process. He would be a great film director as well. You're following his vision, and everything is for real. Even if sitting here listening to you, talk, and the making of the connections and is putting together the game, it comes from such an honest source. He's an honest artist. During the recording sessions, Norman gives a lot of ideas to me," added Kojima. "Everyone thinks I'm a perfectionist, but no, I like a lot of things live, and I want to really do a collaboration," end quote. Quote, "Doing this with Hollywood actors, this was the first time for me, and it was so stimulating for me. I had a lot of ideas flooding out. The game also features Hannibal actor Mads Mikkelsen and Léa Seydoux, hopefully that's correct, who you'll also see in the next Bond film." I won't, because I'm honestly not a big fan of the Bond films. In terms of Reedus and Mikkelsen, Kojima convinced them to take part without the concept even committed on paper. So we know a little bit more about Death Stranding. It's going to be big, it's going to be weird, and it's going to be a metaphor for our slightly broken world of today. Kojima even managed to slip in a reference to the UK's Brexit situation during the chat. Quote, "I want people to think of their lives, or to take a step back in the world and say, oh yeah, this is the connection or disconnection in the world. Like, some people create walls around, like what's happening in Europe. You might see some similarities playing the game." End quote. Quote, "The dude knows things," end quote, says Reedus. We didn't get any new trailers, but Kojima promised there would be more to see in a month or so. Maybe PlayStation will reveal something to show around E3 in June. After all, I'd expect to see something coming up with something coming up with this game. God, what is with the body on the chair, man? Clearly, Kojima's going to be showing something around E3. I think that's what Sony's waiting for the next like state of play or whatever the hell they're calling their like Nintendo Direct things. I just don't know what to expect out of this game. I mean, they say it's an action game, but what kind of an action game? What should I be expecting us doing? There's talking about that weird thing where we're just controlling a camera, and then it's Kojima acting like a psychotic artist. I mean, on one hand, this is why I love Kojima. On the other hand, this is why Kojima annoys the ever-living crap out of me. Because he comes out, he says so much profound stuff that then when you really sit and think about it, you're like, oh, what the hell does any of it mean? So I don't know what to say about this, but I have a feeling that this game is going to be something. So all right. So if anybody else's brain hurts, that's kind of where I am. So thanks for watching, guys. That's going to about do it for the show. If you have any thoughts on any of the topics covered, always post them down in the comments. I'm always happy to respond and chat with you guys. Basically, my only rule of the comment section, again, as always, is don't be an asshole. You can be an ass. Don't be an asshole. That's my description. If you're just going to come in and say you suck and leave, well then fuck you. But if you're going to come and say you suck, here's something that. Constructive criticism is what I'm getting at. God damn, I can't talk today. Thanks for watching. Until next time, guys, social media is in the description. Like, comment, if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. And until then, my name's AJ Gales, the Simple Thought Gaming Channel. I'm out. Thanks for watching.